This early morning, let us savor an excerpt from Kenchen Jigme Punsok's My Heart's Advice, and then let's meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the kind folks who support this channel on Patreon. This early morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as General Leia Organa upon Ajan Kloss under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this early morning's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. We turn now to the second verse of My Heart's Advice, penned by the same author. Now, if I had not been a day late and $1 short, I would have set up these chanting marks prior to the live stream. But alas. Or if I really want to be pretentious, alas, alack. Okay, thank you for your patience. Let's chant. There are countless not of my teachings profound and extensive, suited to the mental capacities and inclinations of limitless beings. Yet by gathering all the key points together in a way that can be practiced, I offer this pithy advice to you, my friends, who are as dear as my own heart. This seems to me very much a nod to a text composed many centuries ago by the great Karma Chakme Rinpoche, who said basically there are wonderful texts for the intellectual elites. This one is for the rest of us. Strong of back and weak of mind. So, but there, beyond the humor, there's something important. When we read one of the earlier Buddhist texts, the Satipatthana Sutta, or the Discourse on the Four Bases of Mindfulness, in the conclusion we read Buddha's promise, that full enlightenment could be practiced, could be accomplished within 7 years, or 7 quarters, or 7 months, or 7 fortnights, or 7 weeks, or even 7 days. So the Buddha did not teach a path for elitists. He taught an egalitarian path for every good-hearted individual out there. So if someone says to you, that to master the path, you must have numerous PhDs and have sat for multiple 3-year retreats, that might make you an adequate teacher, but it will not make you a Buddha. Buddha's path is easy. This is and it's been said, rightly so, that it takes a scholar if you really want to get confused. And there are 2 paths we can walk. We can walk the path of yang or yin, patriarchy or true matriarchy. Upon the path of patriarchy, we tend to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, competitive, and cruel. Upon the path of true matriarchy, we tend to be flexible, loving, laid-back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. This is written from the latter perspective. What I'd like to do now is turn to this morning's primary practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. This one is by the same author, Kenshin Jigme Puntsok, and it's titled Swift Bestowal of Blessings, a Sadhana of Peaceful Mantra Shri, adapted and amplified by yours truly. I tell you this not to boast, but just to be honest. For although this may be translated from a different language, it is also translated from a different culture, from a different worldview. So translating it for us, filthy, unwashed Americans, I've had to adapt some things and amplify certain phrases here and there, because there's 2 ways of looking at texts: orthodoxy or pragmatism. I'm not here to preserve the lineage. I'm here to help people become the Buddhas that their dogs already think they are. Sadly, I need to take a quick break to blow my nose. No, I'm not going to. Today, I'm not going to add chanting marks to the entire sadhana, but I will add it to the first verse. And by that, I mean them. 2, Control G. Whoops, wrong button. Two is 18. There we go. And now we're good to go, but it would appear that I need to realign the display. The ground is primordially pure space. The youthful vast body is radiant. Energy is unceasing. The reason we're able to traverse this path successfully is because we have the inherent capacity, thanks to thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, to physically relax and mentally release, which some would argue is the third noble truth. My own awareness, bodhicitta, is the nature of the hero Manjushri on an ultimate level. So our ability to let go is the same ability possessed by all the Buddhas, including the archetype that we're going to focus on this morning, Manjushri, the archetype of enlightened wisdom. In recognition of this my true essence, I take refuge. So instead of relying on a real or imagined celestial entity, we're taking refuge. We're relying upon the part, one of the 3 parts of our brain that is arguably our birthright, that helps all reasonably healthy vertebrates to become Buddhas. Let's continue. In the illusory city, oopsie, did I fail to? Okay, good. In the illusory city of interdependent deluded perception, beings rope endlessly by clinging to things as real, to bring them all to the Dharmakayas primordial freedom, I generate bodhicitta in the great settling beyond extremes. So here's the really cool thing. Simply by practicing mindfulness and meditation in harmony with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, love for all beings everywhere blossoms spontaneously and uncontrived. Samsara is entirely positive and nirvana is wholly good too. In the all-good expanse there is no birth, no death, no pleasure, no pain. So there is no birth that can't be noticed or released. There is no death that once noticed cannot be released. There is no pleasure that once noticed cannot be released. There is no pain that once noticed cannot be released. Through the power of the truth of the unchanging Dharmata, may the inspiration to realize true reality descend upon us. So I'm going to paraphrase Dharmata to Okay, let's verify that the display is still aligned and continue. This brings us now to the first of 2 silent meditations. This awareness and letting goes mindfulness and meditation is known by many terms, including Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Hatha Yoga, Mahamudra, Dzogchen, Treksho, and Slice Through. It is also known as Great Completion Stage Tantra, and it is a wonderful antidote to clinging. Let's see, I get to do a quick repair. And here we go. Get to make it easier on the eyes, which is always a good choice. All right. So we're going to explore this from the perspective of Jing, Qi, and Shen, from the perspective of body, breath, and mind. Physically, simply emulate the posture presented in the photograph of a statue in the center of the page. Respirationally, in a respiratory manner, we want our in-breath to be shorter and sharper, and our exhalation to be longer and softer. Mentally, during our in-breath, we silently and mentally recite the sensory verb watch. For during every inhalation, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved not to concentrate but to perceive. How to perceive? Vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. What to perceive? Sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. To perceive emotion, intention, thought, memory, and imagining. Fabulous. But what do we do with all that stuff that we noticed? Every time we exhale, we are wired to automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which evolved to both physically relax and mentally release. So all we're doing is aligning our intention with our, metaphorically speaking, factory installed programming. Let us continue chanting. In an experience of reality, primordial purity, and profound luminosity, the spontaneously present play of awareness dawns great compassion, inseparable unity extending everywhere as the vajra of space, which fully emerges in the apparent form as a symbolic mudra. Manjugosha, the embodiment of the wisdom of all the Buddhas. And this would be an excellent place for some art, don't you think? He is peaceful, smiling, graceful, silent, and marked and youthful. He has the glow of twilight clouds and is adorned with jewels and silks. In his right hand he holds aloft and brandishes the sword of wisdom. In his left he holds a volume of text that rests upon an Utpala flower. Let's see. Hopefully I've got this already set aside. Let's continue. He is seated on a water balloon, is resting on a full moon disk, his two legs crossed in the posture of majestic ease. Within each and every pore of his body, self-arisen tantric mandalas appear countless in number. One moment. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7. Copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Let's place this right here. Nope, let's put it right here. Okay, so a Mahdi mandala is a metaphor, and I'm going to explore one with you momentarily. Let's see. Let's go to, let's see. All right. So, in a literalist body mandala, you might see a translucent Buddha couple sporting and tantric units sitting in each eyeball, which is metaphoric of the union of sights are seen, yet non-graspable. As non-graspable as a vast empty void. What's a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the touch? If you've just joined me, welcome aboard. Good news. If at any point during this early morning live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Up below and all around amidst an expansive rainbow light, the root and lineage gurus, akinis, and earthbound guardians arise as spontaneous or torment like specks of dust in a sunbeam. Om through the force of Vati Yoga, empty of existence and non-existence. The Samaya connection of student to teacher is always fully present like space. O Sukata, a perfect bliss, turn your attention toward me. Youthful Manjushri, you who embody fortune and splendor, from the natural and unelaborated palace of Dharmata. No, Dharmata is a beautiful metaphor, but is often lost on American students. So I'm going to paraphrase this as awareness and release. Let's continue. First, I get to make sure that the display is still synchronized. Embodiment of self-arisen compassion, transcendent conqueror. So self-arisen compassion, that refers to compassion spontaneous and uncontrived. I do apologize for the wealth of edits, but life is messy. Embodiment of compassion, spontaneous and uncontrived, transcendent conqueror, in order to swell the darkness of unknowing and conceptuality. I invite you in your self-arisen wisdom from whom now I pray. In order to rid my mind of attachment to good and bad, with regard to the visualized samaya beings and actually abiding jhana wisdom beings. Remain here, you who embody wisdom, love, and power, transcendent conquerors, and steadfast and indivisibly united, I pray. The wisdom deity oriented similes may arise from the expansive inner luminosity and appear as an arrangement of face, hands, and adornments, but it is the manifestation of my own utter purity of love and letting go. In recognition of my very essence of awareness, release, and love, I offer symbolic homage. All phenomena represented by the objects of sensory cognition are purely non-graspable from the beginning and perfect in this gesture of offering. Without attachment and through the magic of king-like concentration, I make these perpetual offerings that entirely fill this vast expanse of awareness and release. In other words, real or imagined Buddhas have no need for real or imagined offerings of foot baths, water, incense, lights, perfume, or food. What pleases a real or imagined Buddha is our sincere application of the teachings. When we practice mindfulness, meditation, and love, that is the ultimate offering. It is offering our practice, offering our application of the teachings to our lives. Through the secret path of instructions that do not arise from Scripture, you see the stronghold of a fruition that does not derive from causes, the supreme primordial Buddhahood that does not originate in mind. Sovereign of the Buddha families, to you I offer homage and praise. In other words, every relatively healthy vertebrate life form has in their central nervous system all that is required to master the path of noticing, releasing, and loving. With sight, sounds, and mixed experience, take two. With sight, sounds, and mind experienced as non-graspable as deity, mantra, and dharmata. Once again, I get to replace the word dharmata with deity, mantra, and awareness, and releases the great perfection of awareness emptiness. And awareness emptiness is my own cognizance, all penetrating and beyond limits. In a state that is undistracted and free of grasping, I recite the secret mantra. And once again, this is an opportunity to this is an opportunity to fix something, which I wasn't planning on doing, but life is funny that way. Okay, I'm looking for 255. Come on, don't be that way. 255, 140, 0. Two 55, 140, and 0. Okay. Now, most likely, I get to realign the display. In a state that is undistracted and free of grasping, I recite the secret mantra Omara Patanandi. Aha. So now we come to contemplations of love and letting go, which could serve as antidotes to hating and are known by many names, such as Generation Stage Tantra, Mantra Yoga, Tantra Mahamudra, and Tokal's Leap Over. Let us leap over our competitive tendencies. So, what is the secret, you might ask, to transform mindless mantra recitation into spiritually productive mantra meditation? And the answer is twofold. As we physically relax into the recitation of the mantra, let's rephrase that. As we chant the mantra, we physically relax. Number two, during our in-breath, we silently and mentally recite either a wisdom-inducing rhetorical question or a love-inducing intention. Now, this love-inducing intention is only 6 syllables long, so it's cryptic. Yeah, basic. So we're going to elaborate it in the previous page. May whole minds of all beings now be as peaceful and wise as the mind of a Buddha of law symbolized by a one-syllable Sitikle or Bija mantra. Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani. 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 Let's leap over interpersonal competition. So instead of competing against people, we're cooperating with love. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyful and loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by the 7-syllable mantra. Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani. 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 Let's leap over physical competition. May whole bodies of all beings know enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist thought of the blissful body of a Yidam of lore and archetype of enlightenment. Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani, Umara Bhajanani. Omarabazana di 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 Omarabazana di. Let us leap over circumstantial competition. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune, or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vaulty. Omarabazana di 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 Omarabazana di. Let us leap over our clinging tendencies. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a beautiful cloudless morn, which, although complete, compelling to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Okay, so we come now. Let us leap over circumstantial clinging. We're going to do it with rhetorical questions. How is it that as we inhale, our circumstances could appear quite vivid, yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise or vaulty of light? Omarabazana di 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 Omarabazana di. We come now to the second vision's leap over physical clinging. How is it that as we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they can feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined archetypal Aryadam of light. Umara Pazana di 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 We come to the third version's leap over interpersonal clinging. How is it that as we inhale the interpersonal experience of communication, our speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra of light. Umara Pazana di 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 Okay, so this is going to be a little bit messy. Umara Pazana di 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 We come now to the fourth and final vision. The fourth vision's leap over mental clinging. How is it that as we inhale we could perceive all mind's functions quite clearly? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined seed circle of light. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Umara Pazana di 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 Umara Bhazana Di Umara Bhazana Di Umara Bhazana Di Umara Bhazana Di. We come now to our closing silent meditation. This bliss in letting go could serve as an antidote to craving. It too is known by many names, such as completion stage tantra, anu yoga, bindu mahamudra, and tikle drop. So when we jump into the exercise, it's very similar to the opening one. As we breathe in, we replace the visual verb watch with the sensual verb feel. And then during the exhalation, it's the same thing. We silently and mentally recite the hyphenated verb relaxing, just like before. Now, if you just tuned in and this is a bit Greek to you, no worries. As we observe the piece of tantric art, their nudity reminds us of the vulnerability necessary for mindfulness. Their translucence, or representative translucence, reminds us that as we physically relax into our exhalation, we are able to release whatever we notice during our inhalation as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Their beauty reminds us that love, spontaneous and uncontrived, is the natural byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The stability with which he sits reminds us of centeredness. The abandon with which she sports reminds us of spontaneity. So let's rapidly chant the seed mantra D many times for approximately 8 breaths. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D. D D D D D D D D D D D D D. I will be right back. We now use the metaphor of a tantric feast offering to share our positive vibes with all beings everywhere. In the expansive Bunda skull cup of the unborn expansive awareness and release, all that manifests from the ground samsaric and nirvanic phenomena are arranged as a feast. It is blessed with the view of my own untainted awareness, and becomes an object of delight to the deities who receive it. Actual gifts of food and drink and other substances are increased through the sky treasury absorption, thus filling the entire expanse of boundless space. To the infinite three-root deities of Lama, view, Yedam, meditation, and Kondro action, I present this offering. Feeling to hold to the natural state of all-penetrating awareness, and overpowered by attachment and notions of I and me, I have transgressed the Vajra command that is not to be taken lightly. Whatever faults I have committed, I hereby acknowledge and confess. I shall not reject thoughts that involve clinging to dualistic ideas, nor subject them to the path of transformation. Rather, I shall seal them with the sharp blade of naturally flowing awareness, within the vast primordial purity of relaxation and release in which phenomena are exhausted. All the limitless Dharma systems of grand path and fruition are like a wisdom symphony of deity, mantra, and awareness and release. Uncreated and always present, may these clouds of perfection fulfill our solemn pledges to the victorious ones throughout space. To the mandala of deities within my own body that is utterly pure, I present this offering of immaculate nectar. Through this may I perfect the four visions and ripen as the light body of great transference. Oh yes, I wanted to put a piece of artwork right here. Insert pictures. May all beings attain awakening altogether in a single mandala. May the guests of the remainder thoughts that arise when the stronghold is not secured within the previous precious expansive sphere of spontaneous presence, accept this remainder grain offering like enthusiasm and compassion, and extend the festival of benefit and happiness for the teachings and beings. So, I want to explore this spontaneous presence. This is a reference to the mastery of the Eightfold Path. Think of it this way. Practicing the Eightfold Path is liberation. Mastering it is enlightenment. Mastering anything looks the same. We practice it, whether it's tying our shoes or brushing our teeth, spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. as represented by this, may all virtues accumulated in the past, present, and future ripen fully in the mind streams of all beings throughout the whole of space, so that they may all awaken in the youthful vase body, complete with its special features of inner luminosity. Youthful vase body is just a metaphor for the mastery of awareness and letting go. The pure Dharmakaya view of awareness and letting go, settled in a state beyond the ordinary mind. The perfect Sambhogakaya meditation of bliss and letting go with a full measure of direct experience. The mature Nirmanakaya conduct of love and letting go, spontaneous and uncontrived, in which space and awareness are indivisible, may all be auspicious for the effortless accomplishment of these three Kaya bodies. So, the essence of morality is simply kindness. Kind communication, kind conduct, kind commerce. Let us put aside the folly of petty one-upsmanship and the desire to dominate, and instead cooperate with the utmost of enthusiasm. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. Whether you do or whether you don't, it is my intention in approximately 2¼ hours to return to lead today's mid-morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.